This is the current review with myself, Thamsanqa Tu, sometimes known as TT. I am being joined by my brother, Tebogo Kotsi, from the Unsaid Podcast. And we have an important interaction today with the #1 citizen of the province of the Freestate, the Premier of the Freestate, and the provincial chairperson of the ANC in the Freestate, Mr. Mxolisi Dukwana. And we would like to apologize for the time delays that we've had. Technology has not been very kind to us this morning, but we are soldiering on. We're not going to be deterred by anything. Tebza, we have the pleasure of speaking to Mr. Mxolisi Dukwana, the provincial chair of the ANC, and I think I'm going to jump right into it and start, asking him questions so that we don't waste any more time. Mr. Dukwana, good morning and good day. And I see that this BBT syndrome is dealing with you very harshly this morning. But besides that, reflecting on the ANC's 2024 Elections Manifesto, could you share with us the specific initiatives the ANC is planning to implement here in the Free State, to address the issues of job creation, and how do you envision these initiatives, to be transforming the local job market?
Thank you, TT and Tebza. This is a pleasure for us in the province to be with you. Let me start first by indicating that for the longest of time, we've been having a problem in terms of long-term planning, which allows you as government, whether it be at the local level and the provincial level, to be consistent and be able to measure the successes and some of the failures along the way, and be prepared to deal with the issues. One important element is also to say, what is it that the Free State needs to be known for, and that rallies everybody behind what we would like the Free State to be. What we then looked at was looking back and saying, we don't need to live in the past, but we need to learn from some of the things that had happened in the past and that had created the situation that we see. We are a province that was known to be depending more on minerals, and as well as that is mining, as well as agriculture. But you will find for some time now, government has actually been on top, meaning many people depend on government creating those opportunities, being supply of services and goods, employment, etc., and the finance sector. And these have actually replaced mining and agriculture. And we felt that with everything that we have, especially looking at the minerals deposits that we have, it's important for us to look at how we can use all these minerals. This is a province that has uranium, that has gas, a province that has gold, although people are saying we no longer have gold, but we've got about 3 mining shafts that will be open very soon. And that tells you we still have a lot that we can give as long as we plan properly. What has been worrying us as a province in doing all the planning is that whilst we are #1 in terms of the metric results, but our output is not good at all. For instance, if we make an example, that you'd have almost 100,000 pupils who will start grade 1, and 12 years later, you'll only have almost 45 or 40,000 sitting for the examination, metric examination. So it means we've got almost 60 to 55 to 60,000 of your people, of young people, who are lost in the process, and you need to do everything to ensure that you build the capacity of these young people to be able to stand on their own. Hence, we decided to focus on implementing the programs that brings about skills, that also reskilling others. As a province, we spend almost 500 million rand in educating people, especially bursaries, and we've got a number of graduates that are sitting at home. In some cases, we find that their qualifications are not relevant or needed in the job market, and therefore we need to do reskilling. And hence, we launched yesterday, together with the Minister of Employment and Labour, a project that is a job activation program that will see about 34,000 of those who were previously employed and found themselves outside employment, and those who are new, who have never worked, the future of work. And in this case, we're looking at the young population that we have and preparing that young population to be able to take a lead in this. And that is an area that we are investigating properly with the universities in the province. And very soon we would have a framework that will allow us to look into issues that would suit the province, but also take into consideration the resources that we have. Remember, we are a province that is blessed. From the west and the east, you have your fiber optic cables, that are running through the undersea cables that are running through the province. And so we need to use them, to create an ecosystem that would bring about the future of work. But with regard to agriculture, we felt that for us to be able to have an impact, we need to start also having the majority of our people involved in agriculture, not only as subsistence farmers, but also as commercial farmers. And to do that, we will be launching very soon, in the future, the project that together with the Department of Health and the Department of Education, where we would make sure that it is the previously disadvantaged people who are producing the food that is enjoyed or that is served to our children at as this nutrition program, but also in our hospitals, so that we are able to create a market for our growers and also those who will be producing this food, and encouraging that to happen in the province. And also we're looking at Harib, as we're looking at hemp and using hemp as an industry that will absorb more people, but also bringing about different opportunities in the development of the economy. For instance, now as we're talking about the economy, the batteries, the graphite and also lithium batteries that are very expensive. But if you use the hemp-based product to produce these batteries, it becomes cheaper, but it creates more industries that are not there in the country, and that is why our focus is on that. But also the hemp cream that you can use in the building of houses, etc., in the construction industry. So it's a whole new industry altogether. And as we speak, there's a team that has gone to Harib and looking at the process itself, and we will be announcing the project that would create almost 40,000 implemented properly, and that will be permanent jobs, but opening new industries. And we felt that, as we were saying, the Vaal River mega city development, that because of the infrastructure that we have, we should actually look at having the foundation of this city being your digital economy, looking at your fiber optic cables that are running through the province, through N1, and joining that. So these are some of the opportunities that we are looking at and making sure that we do not have a province that people go through. But at the heart of it is that, you need to look at water security, which is very important. We, as a province, we have about 3 dams. Your Harib Dam, which is the biggest dam in the country, your Sterfontein Dam, the deepest dam in the country, and the Val Dam. All of them were created to serve a particular economy at the time that was meant to serve the industry in Gauteng, especially along the Vanderbijl region, your Iskor, and as well as Mpumalanga. But they were not meant to do to help us in the province in terms of agriculture. So we are looking at building more reservoirs, more dams, and making sure that we are ready for any eventuality in the farming industry. And we will also be building more silos for our own people to be producers of food and not consumers. So those are some of the things that we are looking at. But also, we believe that we are ready to be a hub, energy hub for the country, because as a province, unlike other provinces, like your Western Cape and Northern Cape, we've got the grid. Our grid, we have got enough grid, and we think that we can actually play and use all that we have.
And Chair, coming back to the issue of mining in the Free State, there are some companies are disinvesting from the Free State in terms of mining. I know that Anglo Gold is closing their mines there by Kroonstad. Would the government be willing in the Free State be willing to consider forming a state-owned mining company in the Free State, so as to keep the employment of those people that are employed in those areas?
That's something, as I said, part of your long-term plan, that you need to have that, but you also need to look into artisan mining and activity there. We have seen with the situation with the Zamazamas and what has been happening. And it is for that reason that we want to get ourselves in creating permanent jobs and make sure that you've got growth that can be consistent and not things that happen per chance. And in this case, we think that mining is very important in the province. As I say, we have engaged with the geoscience also, and mapping of the province, and giving us a report that tells us exactly where we are and what we need to do. But our concern is that we need to have control as a country, and if it takes the province to have its own mining company, that would help in making sure that you retain jobs, you create more jobs, and you also have more miners, especially from the previously disadvantaged communities, participating in this industry, and also making sure that you add value from the products that we are taking out and not selling raw material.
And Chair, we saw that government actually got into an investment summit not long ago, and there were actually plans to actually attract more corporates to form partnership with governments to create opportunities, especially the young ones. Now, there's a huge challenge that is happening, especially amongst the young people, whereby the skills, they're great, they are on another level. But the problem is that we are losing young people to other provinces because they are leaving and saying there's no opportunities in the Free State. Now, what is it that the ANC is creating to open up opportunities for young people to actually say, we can play a role and this is what we can benefit from it?
That's why I told you that we're suffering from lack of long-term planning. And these are the results. You see other people leaving the province and other people losing hope. Where we believe that it is only through proper planning, and this planning does not need only government coming in and saying this is what we know, but it's government working in a collaborative way, engaging these young people and getting some of the ideas from these young people, and working with the institutions of higher learning and other NGOs in the province and NPOs in the province, as well as the private sector, to say exactly where do we take this province. And this is the process that through the looking at the long-term vision of the province, and working with these universities to look at the growth and development strategy of the province, and making sure that it speaks to the issues that affect our people. But we want to move away from creating a situation that the focus is on job creation by government, but have also the private sector coming in. You would know that in 2016, so in the country, you had companies that are on the stock exchange had surplus that they could have invested back into the economy of almost 1.6 trillion, and they did not do that. And this is also something that we need as government to engage these companies to realize that the provincial government, the national government cannot achieve much without them, but also they would not have a country if they are not contributing in building this country. So we need to get into the bottom line, especially of dealing with the base that does not want to transform, the base that want to retain issues for themselves, and the base that want to sustain the status quo. They need to understand that we are here and we are not going anywhere. And the best way is for them to play ball and allow other people to get into the mainstream of the economy. It can't be right that you've got so many people who are without the means of production, and a few people in the province. For instance, you've got one or two companies that are supplying building materials that are from the previously disadvantaged people. And when you look at what the wide established companies are doing, they are doing everything to get these companies out of the way so that they retain the monopoly. And this is not what we should be encouraging. And we should be, as government, we should be strong on this and ensure that we support these other emerging business people, and make sure that, especially with the young people that are coming in, look at what they have and what they are prepared to also give. But we need also to move away from the mentality that you get to school and then you expect government also to employ you, instead of young people coming up with proposals that this is what they can do, and this is what, as government, we are prepared to listen to. But my worry is we're losing too many young people because they believe that the grass is greener on the other side. But I think we've got to make this grass greener here.
And another sector which is very important to job creation is one which you touched on earlier, the agricultural sector. In the province, it looks like young people are not participating as much as they should, because it does not seem to be cool. What is it that the ANC should be doing to make young people see that there is a real wealth that can be created there? But that can be done. Another problem is access to land for agriculture, for Black people in the province. A lot of them do not have land for agriculture. They are subjected to communities in the townships. What do we do to help people access land for agricultural purposes in the Free State?
We have a report that we have just received on the audit, the land audit in the province. And we believe that we have enough land that we also owned by either government or municipalities that can actually be used for the program, that encourages young people to get involved in agriculture and supporting them. The challenge that we've been having also in that field is that the inputs, especially the fertilizers and the seeds and also diesel, these have been very, very expensive for any young person who does not have the resources. And it is for that reason that we have asked the department to focus in ensuring that we are able to empower young people and create an environment where we can be happy that food security has been established in the country and in the province. We are concerned about what is happening, and government needs to intervene in this. Year in, year out, you will losing almost 10 million tons of food, and this is a nutritious food that gets into our landfill sites. They're throwing it away, and yet we have many people dying or suffering from malnutrition, and almost 30 billion meals lost through this uncaring activity that happens from the private sector. And therefore government needs to come in and make sure that we don't have such food that we're losing because of greed, that we begin to have a private sector that is conscious and that understands that it has a role to play and not only make profit. And these are some of the engagements that are very important for us in building a province that pushes food security. As I said, it's food security, water security, energy security, and skills development. These are the issues that are important in the province. And these are the issues that we want to ensure that we build our economy around in changing the fate of the province.
Chair, the ANC announced its manifesto earlier, beginning of the year, and its plans to actually for the next coming 5 years, and let me say the term of office. Now, out of the whole entire manifesto, what item, or let's say promise that you personally can say, this would be my personal goal that I need to achieve in the next 5 years after the election? Which, out of that whole manifesto, which one would you say, this is going to be my personal mission?
You need to for all these things to happen, jobs and all those, education, etc. You need to have a competent and efficient government that is in the province and as well as in the municipalities. And I think we need to make sure that we insist on getting the competent people to in the right positions and allow a situation where you've got new entrants with brighter ideas and better ideas to come in. And we are encouraged by the fact that we are removing some of the obstacles. If you check now, you go to municipalities, you actually, it's a revolving door. If you check at the chief CFOs or municipal managers, you find that these people have been moving around. Your term ends, and then you go to another municipality, and then you go to another municipality. And I think what we need to make sure is those who would also deploy further will be those who would have demonstrated that they can make a difference wherever they are deployed. But we should not deploy people any further or anymore who have not demonstrated any change where they are deployed. For instance, if you have a CFO in a municipality who has never produced and with no intention of making sure that they produce a clean audit, why would you keep and promote such a person or take such an individual to other municipalities? So it should be looking at ensuring that we get the best people for the job, and we allow and we give them all that is necessary for them to be able to do their job, their jobs, and make sure that they deliver, and we have efficient, effective, and developmental government, in this case, both at the provincial level and in the municipalities. You know that in the province, we do not have a municipality that has received a clean audit, and it's simply because in some instances, just simple issues of record keeping, that is a problem. And you find that we really, others are doing this deliberately because it serves a particular interest in making sure that other individuals are able to siphon resources for their own selfish and greedy needs. So we need to stop that. We need to make sure that the resources are used for what they were meant for, and there's accountability. We make sure that there is no underspending or overspending, all those things. We really make sure that whatever we said we will deliver, we must deliver, and it must be on time. It must be an exception, as an exceptional case, but it should not be a norm that we say we will build 100 houses and then we end up building 2 houses. So monitoring, evaluation, accountability, etc., should form the cornerstone of what we mean, but what we want. But the most important thing is making sure that there are consequences for people who are not doing what they are supposed to be doing. You can't just allow for instance, let me make an example, the supply chain and the procurement offices. They should know that it is their responsibility to use the procurement processes to empower and build industries and build the economy of the province. But if the Freestate, as we city, I'll make an example, you have 22 projects, and only 4 companies from the Freestate are involved in the building of schools. And we should be worried. You should not just be carrying on and say the companies did not meet the required, all those, what was required. But the question is, what are you doing to make sure that you've got companies that are capable in the province that can do the job? And but what also has been disturbing me, that I found also just yesterday, is that in some of the schools, you find that are under construction. For mobile classrooms, they get companies from the subcontracting companies. It's a company that comes from outside the province. For subcontracting, it brings a company from outside the province, just for a number of issues. And this should not be tolerated any further. And any person who is found doing this and perpetuating this in the province should actually be charged, because the people will be working against what we want to achieve in the province. We've got people who are capable in the building industry. We've got young people who have gone to school, and they're not getting any opportunities because of what we are doing here. So we need to open up these things and make sure that in health, in education, public works, roads, all the departments, our priority is to make sure that we serve the people of the province, we build the economy of the province, and we protect the interest of the province. But while understanding that we are not an island, but it is important that almost 80% of your work must be done by people in the province. It should be exceptional cases where you do not have such quality or people who can do the job that we can go outside. Other than that, we are not.
When you're speaking on government and the need for accountability and for competent people in spaces and for consequence management, there's a perception that the ANC is not able to deal with people who are incompetent in either it's in provincial government departments or in municipalities, because many of these peoples would be personal friends or they are comrades of yours. So it is difficult for you to deal with them properly, because you are also managing personal or comrade relations with these people.
No, this is far from the truth. In fact, we are committed. There is this perception that they exist, but it is so because these things have been happening for far too long, and they were created deliberately to serve a particular purpose. We know a purpose where people were not interested in building the province, but people who were interested in taking the resources of the province for their own personal means. And that is why you find you're not performing. I'll make an example. There was a municipal manager was appointed in Ngwate, and the workers realized this from Ngwate, and the workers realized that, hey, you are not qualified. And they raised the matter, and they stood up. But the person was moved to a bigger municipality, Dihlabe. And when the Dihlabeng issues, people raised them, the person was moved to Mangaung to be a city manager in Mangaung. And when the SAMU there made noise, the person ended up being a head of department in community safety and roads and transport. So it shows you, once you create an atmosphere that allows people to do things as to do as they please, and knowing that there are no consequences, as you say, these are brotherly, not even comradely, deals. Because the ANC, you can read any document of the ANC. The ANC has not encouraged any person. The ANC speaks about development. The ANC encourages all its leaders to do what is good in serving the people. But it's only people who would create this situation and make sure that they protect one another, and in the process damage the ANC and the brand ANC. The ANC that people know is an organization that cares. It's an organization that has good policies, and all that we need to do is to get people who want to serve, people who are prepared to sacrifice their personal interest in making sure that our people get the best in terms of services. I mean, you can't allow a situation where you have people who would be, whilst we understand some of the problems, why we're sitting with these problems, but we can't tolerate a situation that a family would live in a house surrounded by sewer, and no people move for weeks and weeks. People have reporting the matter, and that has not been attended to. Surely, once you're able to trace who was the first person to get the call and this complaint, and no action was taken, then there should be consequences, so that people know that you're not at work just to earn a salary. You are there to serve, and if you are not serving, give way and allow others who are prepared to serve to do their job. So that is the attitude that we pushing forward, to say you're not prepared to serve, give way. Yeah, whether you are a friend, whether you are a comrade, whether you are the chairperson of the province, but as long as you are not doing what the ANC has said we must do, then you should not be in any position that would continue to damage the image of the organization and undermine the trust that the people have in the ANC. So we have said now during our campaigns that we are not going to go back to them in the coming elections, local government elections, and say we are sorry. We have said that, and we're correcting these issues, and we're going to make sure that whoever crosses the line suffers the consequences of his doing.
Okay, last one.
Okay, go ahead, Tebza.
Yeah, no, I just got a message from one of the viewers. He's a creative DJ Saxon. He says I must actually ask Chair for it. The creative sector has been widely neglected in the past years, and if there's any plans in terms of creating opportunities or hearing what the creative sector wants to do, because they feel in order for them to achieve certain goals, they need to move out of the province, but the province is not creating opportunities for them. And it brings me back to a point where I remember where Chair raised it also, where he did indicate that there is a passion to actually develop the creative sector in the province. But now, Chair, future goals. The creatives, they believe they can actually create employment for themselves and actually assist the province in growing. Your take on that one?
You also realize that we have demonstrated our passion in that sector. Industry in Valcom, where we wanted them to talk about their issues, and we also have realized that the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture has not been funded properly. And we need to make sure that we fund it properly, but we make it sure that it focuses on developing this industry, the creative industry, but also take sports as an industry itself. And this would help develop the Free State.
The feed of the chairperson keeps freezing out. I'm not sure if he can still hear us. And I think he's out.
And we will be doing more in making sure that
the network is very low.
We develop the industry and support the industry.
All right, Chair. I think in closing, I just want to, just one question in closing, on accountability and effective implementation, being critical, to the success of any manifesto. Could you explain, what is it that the ANC will do in the Free State to monitor progress and ensure the fulfillment of the promises outlined in the manifesto if the ANC wins this coming election?
We have been having monitoring, committees, and we think we need to strengthen that capacity, and committees that are meant to ensure that we do not only deal with issues when they have happened, we prevent them from happening. So we need to have people who will be preemptive and, auditors, internal audits, etc. Get people who are capable, people who would not be afraid, who would be able, and we support such so that they point us to some of the weaknesses before these weaknesses create problems. The challenge is we always want to deal with something after it has happened. And I think we need to move away from that, prevent things from happening. And those that will fall through, we must deal with the issues, and those who are responsible must actually be, if we need to expel people, we must. If we need to charge people, we must. And if we need to make sure that, for instance, you've got service providers who would provide poor quality work, and then still they get some work, So you don't do your quality work, you don't deserve any work in the province, but the province must also make sure that we capacitate these people and allow them to be proper business people. And also the training, especially in financial management, is very key. You can't have a person who gets a tender to construct or to build about 200 houses, and the first thing that he does, utenga to 2 doors and what it means to be a business person, sense of the word. We do not want just to have people abafuni mali and not provide these services. So those are the things that will correct the situation in the province, but it demands a consistency in applying all these things and making sure but every person is treated equally. And as we say, those who are seen to be closer to some of us as leaders should not be treated with kids' love, but they should be treated the same. If we say wrong, maybe wrong, wrong.
Thank you, Chair. In just 60 seconds, what message do you have for the general public of the Free State and people who will be exercising their right to vote on the 29th of May?
Voting is very, very, very important, and we encourage every person to go out and vote. But we also want to make sure that as a people, we solidify our base and not be divided further and be governed. You know, the divide and rule syndrome that goes around, that it's only when you look into parties that would be representing the majority of the people are divided to make sure that blacks who are a majority in the country become a minority. So let's go out and vote in numbers and make sure that our democracy pilayo. And of course, we also calling for people to vote for ANC.
And what's happening this coming weekend?
Person of the ANC.
On Friday, we would be having the president, hosting the president. It will be in Botshabelo and also in Bloemfontein. And then on Saturday, we have a fundraising activity here in Welkom. And on Sunday, we have a rally, provincial rally in Putadichaba Stadium. And these are very important events for us.
Okay.
No, that's it. Thank you very much, Chair of the ANC and the Premier of the Free State, Mxolisi Dukwana, and we wish you all the best in all your campaigns and everything that you're doing. All the best.
Kotsi, TT, and Tebzas.
Thank you very much for availing yourself, Premier.
You know what this side means?
What does it mean?
Love you guys.
No. You know.
This is love you. It's a sign about Nabanga but talent is love you. It's not a gangster thing. It's love you. Sure.
I would have thought that love you is like this.